In this video, I'm going to talk to you about networking and specifically break down how I became friends with multimillionaires and how I still do it to this day. And it's just so addicting because what you realize as you get further along in business is the relationships matter more than the cash flow, more than the money. It's how strong are your relationships with people and what level are your friends, the people that you interact with and you talk to and you have saved in your phone, what level are they operating on? That is the key to entrepreneurship, and that's the key to leveling up as a man in the world that we live in today. So I'm going to tell my story of how I progressed, which you guys could probably just copy, and then I'm also going to break down some things that I'm observing. For me, my main mission, my goal on this YouTube channel and my goal in life is to master life, dominate life, and then share the things that have made me successful with others to help them level up. So I'm not just trying to selfishly get rich and stay quiet and not let anybody know. If I was trying to do that, I wouldn't have a Lamborghini here. I'd have a fucking Toyota Camry. I got rid of the Camry because the Lamborghini shows people that you're successful. And I want people to know I'm successful so that they listen to me, so that I can give them my knowledge and actually impact their lives. The most selfish people are the people that are pretending to not be selfish. They're pretending to be humble. They'll call me materialistic, when in reality, I've got all these nice things to attract the eyeballs of young men so that I can teach them the truths of life. And that's what I'm doing in this video. That's what I do on my channel. But as I evaluated how I got to the point that I'm at right now, which I'm 30 years old, and I've been on this journey about the last 6 years. I've been really pushing hard trying to become rich off of the internet. And the biggest thing for me was I put myself in a room where it was normal to make 100 grand a year. And the top guys, it was normal to make 400 grand a year. And what I'm talking about is the door-to-door sales operation that I was a part of with Vivint Smart Home, home security. But you've got pest control door-to-door organizations. You've got other home security. You've got solar is really big. You've got car sales, but I don't know how great it is in car sales, but I'm sure it's similar atmosphere. But getting into that sales atmosphere was crazy for me. So I originally was reselling shit on eBay. You can go back on my channel and see those vlogs like 6 years ago. And I wanted to scale up my inventory for the eBay resale. So I got a job full-time in the Army as a recruiter. And it was a ton of fun. I learned a ton of skills doing it. But what I realized was my coworkers all lived for the weekend, which is not a good way to live life. And they also all lived to get drunk at happy hour. Most people are like this in American society. I'm not like shitting on them, but that's how most people are, and it's just no way to get ahead in life. Whereas for me, I'd get into my office, I'd get my work done, I'd find my recruits, I'd make progress with what I had to do for work to get paid, and then I would start working on YouTube videos, I'd start working on pages, I'd start working on my internet side hustle. I'd also go to the outlets and get inventory and to resell. So I'm always being productive throughout the whole day. And I'm like, damn, these people around me, they're not helping me level up in any way. It didn't matter because I had my goals and I had my vision, so I was executing. But what happened next was I realized that I couldn't reach higher levels of income in the Army without doing time in service and getting promotions. And even when you get a promotion in the Army, just like most 9-to-5s, you're not getting that much more money. So I ended up getting recruited and finding door-to-door. And what happened when I drove up to Dallas, which, stop right there, that's important. Most of you wouldn't drive from San Antonio to Dallas. It was a 5-hour drive to go meet this guy that I was messaging on Instagram. I knew that he had made more money than me, so I drove up to meet him. And that's kind of like the biggest message I want to push across in this video. It's going to come up a few times, but I just realized I was just saying it right there. Like, as I evaluate how I got to where I'm at, most of you would not do that. You'd be like, oh, I'm not driving to meet this stranger I met on Instagram. It's like, okay, well, you're just going to sit in the place you're in. You're not going to network. But when I got to his office, I hung out with him for a day. He showed me everything. I met his boss. His boss is Adam Nelson. I'm friends with these guys now. It's Trent Wood and Adam Nelson. You'll see them in my vlogs if you look at the door-to-door series. And like, when I met Adam and Trent and I saw Adam's Instagram, I was like, this guy is living a life much closer to what I want for myself in the next 5 years than my coworkers in the Army, who are all go to happy hour, get drunk, and most of them, the divorce rate's pretty freaking high in the Army. I know way more guys that are divorced with kids than guys that are happily married. Whereas in the door-to-door game, A lot of the managers have families, and they're very strong families, which is what the goal was for me. And to become rich as well, which you don't see very many guys with Lambos in the Army. I've actually never seen it once. But I made the decision there. I don't really know much about this job. I don't know if I'll do well, but I need to get surrounded by these people that are in this office, because these people are going places. The people in the Army, they have good jobs, they have good lives. It's not the shittiest life, but they're staying right here their whole life. Whereas I want to get on that exponential growth, and I want to build. Where I am 3 years from now needs to be further along than where I'm at now. So I literally put in to quit working with the Army to work with these guys, not really knowing a ton about it except for the fact that I needed to surround myself with higher level people. And it was such a good decision for me, and it's so obvious, but people don't do this. Most people wouldn't even have drove 5 hours to go meet the first guy, Trent, and then you would have never met the boss, Adam. So both those guys were key players for me making that decision. But then once I got surrounded by the whole organization, there were guys from all around America. And when we'd go to the award ceremonies, I'd be in a room where everybody's making six figures. Think of like 500 sales guys. Everyone's making six figures. And I'm barely making six figures. And I'm seeing guys that I know I'm smarter than. I know I'm better than. And I'm like, this motherfucker's making 4 times what I'm making. He's making 400 grand. Like, being in that room normalizes making 400 grand a year. And it became so normal that it got to the point where I'm making more money than I've ever made, and I'm feeling like pissed off about it, like I'm failing. You know, you're making more than you ever could have dreamt of making going to college as a kid, aspiring to get a good career 9 to 5 where you work Monday to Friday and you have the weekends off, and you're pissed off about it. It's just a good thing to do. But it starts with when you meet a guy that's further along than you and there's an opportunity to actually meet him in person, drive to that location or book a Spirit Airlines flight to that location, okay? I also booked a flight to Salt Lake City to go to their season kickoff party. Most people wouldn't have booked that flight either, okay? Like, this is the thing I want to drill into y'all's heads. Like, holding on to your money is not going to get you anywhere. Invest your money in gas or plane tickets or hotel rooms to get the fuck where the people you want to be are. And this video I'm making right now is inspired by the fact that I have a group where people pay $400 a month to be in it. It's on School, Alex Hormozy's platform. And I teach them how to make money on the internet through sports betting and fantasy football content. And we did a free mastermind at the Winnable headquarters. And I think a couple guys went there that lived in Miami, but only one guy booked a flight and got an Airbnb and went out there. I did too. But the opportunity for these guys is they get to meet me, they get to network with me. The guy that came out, his name's Chris, and I learned a lot about him out there because we were networking together. We made memories, and now when I text him, it's like I'm texting a friend. Whereas if I text other group students, it's just a fucking name. It's like Alberto, sports content student. Do you see what I mean? Like, when I see Chris's name, I think that's that dude that I was hanging out with in Miami. And when I can call him now when I'm on the way to the gym and need someone to talk to, I can call him and just bounce ideas off of him. The investment for him to book a fucking flight and get an Airbnb, it's under $1,000. Now he has a solid friendship with me. But it's not just about me. The people that built Winnable also built another company that they sold to Playboy for $30 million. So how many entrepreneurs build a company and exit and sell it for $30 million? It's a pretty rare accomplishment. And that's what the CEO and the co-founders of Winnable have done. So for me, I'm networking with them. And you never know who else is going to come out there. I met Marcus Vick, I met Michael Beasley, pro athletes. And the thing I've learned about pro athletes is they're kind of one-trick ponies. They kind of just are good at playing sports, and most of them suck at everything else. But it's cool to meet these people. And there's also other entrepreneurs there that I interact with, that I solidify a bond with. And I could list them all out, but it's not the point. Like, the point is that there's high-level people there. And that mastermind was free. And the other benefit of going was that you got to network and socialize and shoot content in a $12 million property on the water in Miami as yachts pass by. So you're also exposing yourself to a lifestyle, a $12 million house, that will motivate you and inspire and start to normalize it for you. Because when you're in a neighborhood where there's $12 million houses and $7 million and $4 million and $2 million, you realize, like, damn, there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of people making money and living lifestyles at that level. Why can't I? You see how many yachts there are? Like, there's humans that own those yachts. You can be one of them. But if you sit in your bubble and you sit in your small town and you never book the Spirit Airlines flight and get the Airbnb and go to these places, you will never be exposed to that. You'll never be in proximity of people on that level. So, like, what you got to do is you've got to get to where you're surrounding yourself with people on your level. I think door-to-door is a great route. That's the route I went. Because instantly, if you become a top sales rep, you're going to become your manager's favorite salesman, right? So all you got to do is get into door-to-door, be the number one grinder, outwork everybody, and you'll become friends with the top guys. The reason why is because in door-to-door, the top guys were once sales reps at the bottom, and they were the hardest working sales reps. So oftentimes they connect. So like for me, I only did door-to-door 1 year, but I made friends with a lot of the managers because they recognize, like, damn, the way that I recruit is on another fucking level. And they could either relate to it or they looked up to me for it. I was a better recruiter than a lot of those guys, even though they were high up. What I did in 1 year, it would have taken them 3 to 5 years to do. So the point of this video, guys, is that the most important thing as far as making money on the internet, the number one thing you got to do is get in proximity, get in the room, rub shoulders and talk to and speak to high net worth individuals. And if you have to pay to get in the room, don't be afraid to pay. There's events all the time that are $1,500, $10,000. Patrick Bet David, he ran an ad I clicked through. It was 15 grand to go to his event. If you pay 15 grand, that was like the highest level. The access to the dinner you get to at the end, the only people there are going to be high-level people that you're going to get to network with. So, like, what do you think's going to happen when you get in that room with all the other people that paid 15 grand? It's how Alex Hormozi went from a net worth of under $1 million in his mid-20s to over $100 million in his early 30s. Like, it was a quick rise from 0 to 100 million for him. It's because he invested in masterminds. You don't always have to invest, but be willing to invest. And if it means investing a day driving to a place, like, do it. I would not have got to where I'm at now if I had not pulled the trigger and gone and met Trent Wood, who lived 5 hours away. I didn't even think twice. It came naturally to me. But what I'm seeing here, observing the students in my group, is that, like, that's not something that is taught to them. They're actually probably taught the opposite. Like, if they drove 5 hours to meet a guy on Instagram, their friends would probably be like, dude, why are you doing that? Like, why would you drive? What if he doesn't show up? What if he ends up scamming you? What if he ends up kidnapping you? Like, they would think of all this bullshit to not go. But, like, take action, go, and go meet people. If I was you guys, the number one thing I'd want to do is become friends with me. Unless you're making more money than me, but you're probably not watching this video if you are. But I just made 1.2 million off the internet. And it was the first year that my wife and I had a baby. So I made 1.2 million and I barely worked because my wife and I were just fucking busy with the baby. So the smartest thing you guys can do is become friends with me, get closer access to me. I've got a private group. I'm going to Miami in August. Anybody in my private group gets the invite to go. And if you're in the group already, you need to get the fuck to Miami. And if you are, like, just watching this because you found it randomly, then just get near people that are millionaires, do something to give them value, do something to impress them, and become friends with them. It's the number one way to speed up the process for you. But that's all I've got, guys. I appreciate y'all watching my video, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let's blow this YouTube channel up.